times and presided over great gatherings over the past 12 years. We are gathered with sad hearts in prayer around his mortal remains. Yet, we are sustained by the certainty of faith, which assures us that human existence does not end in the tomb, but in the house of the Father, in a life of happiness that will know no end. On behalf of the College of Cardinals, I cordially thank all of you for your presence. With deep emotion, I extend respectful greetings and heartfelt thanks to the heads of state, heads of government, and official delegations who have come from many countries to express their affection, veneration, and esteem for our late Holy Father. The outpouring of affection that we have witnessed in recent days, following his passing from this earth into eternity, tells us how much the profound pontificate of Pope Francis touched minds and hearts. The final image we have of him, which will remain etched in our memory, is that of last Sunday, Easter Sunday, when Pope Francis, despite his serious health problems, wanted to give us his blessing from the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica. He then came down to this square to greet the large crowd gathered for the Easter Mass while riding in the open-top Pope-mobile. With our prayers, we now entrust the soul of our beloved Pontiff to God. That he may grant him eternal happiness in the bright and glorious gaze of his immense love. We are enlightened and guided by the passage of the Gospel, in which the very voice of Christ resounded, asking the first of the apostles, "Peter, do you love me more than these?" Peter's answer was prompt and sincere. "Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you." Jesus then entrusted him with the great mission, "Feed my sheep." This will be the constant task of Peter and his successors. A service of love in the footsteps of Christ, our Master and Lord, who came not to be served but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for many. Despite his frailty and sufferings toward the end, Pope Francis chose to follow this path of self-giving until the last day of his earthly life. He followed in the footsteps of his Lord, the Good Shepherd, who loved his sheep to the point of giving his life for them. And he did so with strength and serenity, close to his flock, the Church of God. When Cardinal Bergoglio was elected by the conclave on March 13th, 2013, to succeed Pope Benedict XVI, he already had many years of experience in religious life in the Society of Jesus, and above all was enriched by 21 years of pastoral ministry. in the Archdiocese of Buenos Aires, first as an auxiliary, then as a coadjutor bishop, and above all as Archbishop. The decision to take the name Francis immediately appeared to indicate the pastoral plan and style on which he wanted to base his pontificate, seeking inspiration from the spirit of St. Francis of Assisi. He maintained his temperament and form of pastoral leadership, and through his resolute personality, immediately made his mark on the governance of the Church. He established direct contact with individuals and peoples, eager to be close to everyone, with a marked attention to those in difficulty. Giving himself without measure, especially to the marginalized. He was a pope among the people, with a heart open to everyone. He was also a pope attentive to the signs of the times, and with the Holy Spirit was awakening in the Church. With his characteristic vocabulary and language, rich in images and metaphors, he always sought to shed light on the problems of our time with the wisdom of the gospel. He did so by offering a response guided by the light of faith and encouraging us to live as Christians amid the challenges and contradictions of recent years, which he loved to describe as a change in epoch. He had a great spontaneity and informal way of addressing everyone. Rich in human warmth and profoundly sensitive to today's challenges. Pope Francis truly shared the anxieties, sufferings, and hopes of this time of globalization. He gave of himself by comforting and encouraging us with a message capable of reaching people's hearts in a direct and immediate way. His charisma of welcome and listening, combined with a manner of behavior in keeping with today's sensitivities, touched hearts and sought to reawaken moral and spiritual sensibilities. Evangelization was the guiding principle of his pontificate. With a clear missionary vision, he spread the joy of the gospel, which was the title of his first apostolic exhortation, Evangelii Gaudium, in English, The Joy of the Gospel. It is a joy that fills the hearts of all those who entrust themselves to God with confidence and hope. The guiding thread of his mission was the conviction that the Church is a home for all, a home with doors always open. He often used the image of the Church as a field hospital after a battle in which many were wounded. A Church determined to take care of the problems of people and the great anxieties that rip open the contemporary world. A Church capable of bending down to every person, regardless of their beliefs or condition, and healing their wounds. His gestures and exhortations in favor of refugees and displaced persons are countless. His insistence on working on behalf of the poor was constant. It's significant that Pope Francis's first journey was to Lampedusa, an island that symbolizes the tragedy of immigration, with thousands of people drowning at sea. In the same vein was his trip to Lesbos, together with the Ecumenical Patriarch and the Archbishop of Athens, as well as the celebration of a Mass on the border between Mexico and the United States during his journey to Mexico. Of his 47 arduous apostolic journeys, the one to Iraq in 2021, defying every risk, will remain particularly memorable. That difficult apostolic journey was a balm for the wounds, open wounds of the Iraqi people, who had suffered so much from the inhuman actions of ISIS. It was also an important trip for interreligious dialogue. Another significant dimension of his pastoral work. With his 2024 apostolic journey to 4 countries in Asia and Oceania, the Pope reached the most peripheral periphery of the world. Pope Francis always placed the gospel of mercy at the center, repeatedly emphasizing that God never tires of forgiving us. He always forgives, whatever the situation might be, of the person who asks for forgiveness and returns to the right path. He called for the extraordinary Jubilee of Mercy in order to highlight that mercy is the heart of the gospel. Mercy and the joy of the gospel are 2 key words for Pope Francis. In contrast to what he called the culture of waste, he spoke of the culture of encounter and of pure solidarity. The theme of fraternity ran through his entire pontificate with vibrant tones. In his encyclical letter, Fratelli Tutti, Brothers All, he wanted to revive a worldwide aspiration to brotherhood, because we're all children of the same Father who is in heaven. He often forcefully reminded us that we all belong to the same human family.